Hello, DC family. This is the District Sports Report, formerly known as the Henderson Show. I am Greg Water fan coming at you live, reporting on the Wizards versus the Raptors game tonight. Tonight we played in T-Dot, Toronto, so it was a home game for the Raptors. They're coming in on a 3-game winning streak, sitting at 14-4, sitting on top of the Eastern Conference, while the Wizards are stumbling in at 6-11, trying to make a statement against a good team. After the Thanksgiving loss by our Washington football team, it'd be nice to get a victory against a really promising team and really changing the narrative about our season and hopefully making some run at this playoff race. Well, let's talk about pregame. So we know we got Kelly Oubre, who's starting tonight again with Markieff Morris coming off the bench. Really proud for Scott Brooks for keeping that going. We also got Thomas Bryant starting in favor of Dwight Howard, who's still out with the glute injury, and in favor of Jan Mahimi, who I'm happy about. Thomas Bryant brings us a lot of energy and athleticism and some youth infusion, which I think will be really good for the team moving forward. This is our first time playing against Kawhi Leonard this year. We didn't play against him our first opportunity against Toronto. He's coming in averaging 25 points a game, looking like an MVP candidate. Looking like a top-notch two-way player. I will say that I think Toronto made a bad decision in giving up DeRozan for him this year. I think he's going to be a one-year rental, but you got to give it to Toronto, their front office. They're going for it all. They're all in on getting this championship this year, and they'll worry about the rest later. As a competitor and as somebody who hasn't seen his team win a championship in my lifetime, I can definitely appreciate that. First quarter, game did not get off to a good start. We got down by 12 early, and we're down by double figures most of the first half. Made a climb in the second half thanks to our bench. And our bench were getting crushed early on, down 25-2. But later on in the second quarter, Markieff Morris and Oubre started making some plays, and our bench brought us back to a point where we got it below double figures. And halftime, we sat at a score of 70-62. All right. In the second half, made a huge push. We actually took the lead 71-70 on a Kelly Oubre bucket off the Euro step. Looked like we were heading in the right direction. The game was actually tied at 73-73 when everything kind of fell down and we started to just disravel as a team. John Wall made some uncostly turnovers. The Wizards as a whole missed some open shots, and before you could blink, we were down by 7 points, 73-80. And to tell you the truth, Toronto never looked back. They went on the coast in the fourth quarter to a victory 125-107. So the Wizards walked away with another L. Drake was in attendance. Was happy to get his first win. Toronto actually donned his OVO City Edition uniforms, which were pretty interesting. You have to check it out. So Drake was feeling pretty happy on the way out of the building. Another loss. We're now sitting at 6-12 and really headed towards the bottom of the Eastern Conference still. 3 observations from the game. Number 1, we can't shoot. And this has been the story all year. From 3-pointers, we shot 20%. I repeat, 20%. We shot 42 threes today, and we only made 9. And that's really inflated because Austin Rivers hit 2 in the last 20 or 30 seconds that ballooned our percentage up to 20%, where it was sitting around 15-17 for most of the game. On the contrary, Toronto shot lights out, shot about 50% from 3-point range. So basically, we lost the game from the 3-point line. And this has been a common theme throughout the season where the Wizards just do not have the ability to knock down shots. So when I think about my observations from this game, and it really is my observations of the team as a whole, we have big-time problems putting the ball in the hole. And as you know, it's a miss-or-make league. And at the end of the day, a basketball player, your job is to put the ball in the hole, get buckets. We are shooting very low percentage, especially from 3-point range. And that is why we're getting cooked as this new era has teams shooting and raining threes. And they have players who are specialists or who can make those shots, especially if they're open. And for some reason, the Wizards are not able to do so. I talked about last week how we have no pure shooters, and it's really ringing true. Tonight, our 3 stars, John Wall, Bradley Beal, and Otto Porter, were a combined 3 of 16 from three-point range. Terrible percentage. Each of them only hit one. We just can't win like that, especially when we're facing a team with Kyle Lowry, with Kawhi Leonard, with CJ Miles, and Van Vliet, all people who are very adept at hitting outside shots. Wall got a lot of criticism. Didn't have his best game today. He poured in 11 points, 11 assists, but he had 7 turnovers, and he did have 2 blocks. But not a scoring game that you'd expect from John Wall. And really, one of my big-time observations from this game is, what is wrong with him? Obviously, you've heard some critics come out talking about him partying at Rose Bar. Stephen A. was on First Take saying he looks big and he's out of shape. And that's the reason why you don't see him getting to the hole as much as we're accustomed to. And that does kind of ring true, because you don't see Wall getting to the hole, finishing contested and ones, throwing up the biceps, saying how strong he is. I haven't seen much of that this year. And it's indicative in this game that he actually shot 0 free throws. He got to the free throw line not once today. And that is not indicative of the aggressive style that John Wall has shown us over the years. And John Wall, he shot back at his critics, saying that he's out of shape, saying, I could play better, making shot wise and all that. Everybody keeps saying I'm not in shape. I am in shape. I just deal with injuries. I play through them. I don't complain about them. I go out there and I give it everything I've got. I believe that wholeheartedly, John. And percentage-wise and stat-wise, your stats don't look too bad. You're averaging 21 points. You're dishing out 8 assists a game, pretty comparable to the other point guards in the league right now, as you pointed out in that interview. But stats can sometimes be misleading. And the eye test, you can never fool the eye test. And the eye test tells us that you're shooting at a lower percentage this year, and you're not getting to the rack. You're not finishing contested and ones, finishing around the basket. And for whatever reason, it's hurting us as a team. So what's going on? Obviously, you said you're dealing with injuries. You've never been one to complain about injuries. We've seen you play through a broken hand and probably a lot of other injuries that you didn't disclose. But the fact of the matter is, we need you to play like the John Wall that you're capable of being. After the game, Chris Miller asked John Wall about how he was feeling about all this criticism, just about the stuff coming out from the locker room and obviously the trade rumors. Wall was very emotional when he addressed those comments, stating how much he loved the city, how much he wants to be here, how much it's frustrating to hear those comments, that he goes out and gives his all for the city. And you see that not only on the basketball court, but outside the basketball court, him doing a whole lot for the youth in this city through his backpack drives. Saw him in the city in Southeast giving out turkeys this past week. He is a warrior and a champion for our city, and I would just hate to see him go. But as somebody who wants to see the Wizards win, it's about putting a winning product on the court. And Wall, you got to do what you got to do so. But it doesn't all fall on Wall. It really falls back to our general manager, Ernie Grunfeld. Wall has been begging, pleading for them to get another superstar on this team. He even had to call out his own teammate, Otto Porter, a few years ago, begging for the team to make a real serious run at Paul George, because that's what we needed to be successful. You can't undermine the fact that Ernie Grunfeld's not doing a great job. And it really got highlighted in an article that came out on Bullets Forever. There's a gentleman by the name of Mr. Riquet, and he was the MC for the Washington Wizards for the past 5 years. And he was recently honored at the stadium for his 5 years of being our game time MC. And after he left and went to Twitter, it wasn't to thank the Wizards for all they did. It was to completely destroy Ernie Grunfeld for his role as the general manager of this team. He described Ernie Grunfeld as being the worst general manager in all of sports. Okay? Claiming that he is the dark cloud. He is the cancer that is preventing this team from achieving any type of level of success. He mentioned the fact that we've got players that don't deserve it on player options, terrible draft picks, signing players to one-year deals when they're looking for their next deal and not really committed to the team. He gave a number of reasons why the man is not liked around the organization. He claimed that very few people he met and came into encounter with said they had a good interaction or a positive feeling about Ernie Grunfeld, the person, not even Ernie Grunfeld, the general manager. So it felt really good for me as a fan, somebody that's been really down on Ernie Grunfeld's role and job as the general manager the past 15, 16 years, for somebody in-house who's been working there every day at every game to really come out and criticize Grunfeld and say a lot of the things that I've been saying and feeling, and a lot of things that I know other folks have been feeling and hearing over the city. He came out and said, get his ass out of D.C. immediately, quote. I mean, that's a powerful statement. And I just appreciate this, man. You were a great MC for us. Thanks for going out on a high note. Hey, man, I'm ready to sign that petition any day, anytime. But let's get the record straight, y'all. We are not losing because of a lack of effort. I know after every game, when you listen to Scott Brooks, you listen to Bradley Beal, you listen to John Wall, they all cite the fact that we're playing too cool, that we're not getting back on defense, that we're not hitting shots, we're not putting the same effort back on the defensive end, that we're not communicating. It's not because players are beefing in the locker room. Yes, John Wall had a spat with Jeff Green. Yes, Bradley Beal and Austin Rivers will probably never be best friends. And obviously you have some run-ins with your coach when things aren't going well. But this is just a part of basketball. That is not the reason why the Wizards aren't playing well. There have been plenty of other teams where I'm sure they had some discourse in the locker room or players that didn't love playing with each other. The fact in the matter is the Wizards don't have the talent to compete with the other teams in this league. They don't have the talent. It doesn't matter how much they try. It doesn't matter how much effort they exude. They don't have the talent to compete on a day in and day out. These young teams that we thought we were better than are proving that they have just as much talent, just as much heart, just as much shot makers, or more so than the Washington Wizards have right now. Yes, with our core, Beal, Wall, and Porter have been playing together for 6 years, and you would think that will come with a certain amount of continuity and chemistry, but it doesn't matter when you don't have the talent. And that's where we are right now. And that falls squarely on the shoulders of Ernie Grunfeld. He has not put our players in a position to be successful. John Wall, as good as he is and as an elite player as he is not an elite scorer. We will not reach the heights that we want to reach unless we have a bona fide MVP candidate. And John Wall is not called upon to be an elite scorer, which he is not. So let's see what we can do next game. We have a tough opponent in the New Orleans Pelicans. They lost a tough game tonight to the New York Knicks, so they're going to be coming in really hungry to get that taste out of their mouth and to get a win against a bad team, a team who on paper right now they should beat. So it's a back-to-back. We got to regroup and get ourselves back together and be ready to ball tonight. And let's go try to get this upset against the Pelicans. We want to see them again in a couple games, so we want to make a statement to them, win or lose, that we're coming to play. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. This is the District Sports Report. My name is Gregoire. Hope you had a wonderful holiday and Black Friday. Love you all. Peace out.